Hey y'all, it's your girl Angie. Welcome back to Kiss My Chicks TV. Let's jump right into Real Housewives of Potomac. This episode, let me tell you, I'm gonna try to be brief because I got 5%. I got 5% of this iPad and I gotta talk fast. And it really wasn't a lot to talk about. I said this episode was sponsored by Kleenex and Tyler Perry auditions. It was a lot of tears, cry, a lot of bullshit and a lot of bad acting. First, let's give a big FU to Andy. Andy needs to step down. He cannot moderate these reunions. The whole point of a moderator is to be unbiased and to call bullshit to everyone, not just to one person. A huge part of me feels like when it comes to the Samuels, there must be some legalities mixed up with the Bravo in this plot. We know it was a plot. I ain't even gonna do the air quotes. It was a plot. So I feel like it's a lot of shit going on behind the screens because for some reason, Andy it didn't matter how much they wanted to address what we all knew what went on. Andy wanted to give it no light. And I thought it was very fucked up the way he talked to Monique. If I was Monique, I would have cussed his ass out, especially if I knew I was going to quit. I would have cussed Andy's ass out. We're going to get to Monique quitting at the end. Where can we go? Like, I really don't care. I really don't care about Candace's tears and her back there talking to her husband and crying. Let's fast forward through all of that. That's the first 30 minutes of the reunion. Y'all could have had this be 2 parts and then made part 2 90 minutes. A lot of this was a waste of fucking time. So the first thing I had to say, what Candace is throwing out that Monique's attorney was a quack. Now, English wasn't my and you know the definitions wasn't my best subject. I'm an accountant, I know numbers. But I thought only doctors could be quacks. So maybe I don't understand. Maybe anybody could be a quack. But I only heard that referred to doctors. But it sounds like Candace is just jealous that Monique can afford a better attorney than hers. Because to me, how can you be a quack when you did your job? I hired you. Now see, I wrote in my notes, Candace is pissed that Monique whooped your ass and didn't have to pay for it. And she really ain't apologized. That little bullshit apology she did, I don't believe. So that's why you mad. You mad because she whooped your ass. Her lawyer got her off. You got no coins and you didn't get an apology. Be mad. I ain't mad at you for being mad, but stop crying over the shit. I'm over it. But her attorney did her job because clearly on the video, Monique threw the first punch. Monique threw the only punch. It was a whop. It wasn't a punch. It was a whop. Monique threw the only whop. So moving on from that, I don't want to go back. I feel like I gave my opinion on a lot of these scenarios that were addressed in the reunion, and part 3 really didn't give anything new. Y'all like my new unit. I'm not a unit girl. Like, this is really my first time wearing a unit sewn down, and I have to get used to it. I feel like I got the layers cut too, and so my hair is way too much volume. But I love this color that she gave this. So, but anyway, off of my hair. What can we get to next? Okay, Monique apologizes with tears but no tears. This was the first Tyler Perry audition. She now realizes after talking to her therapist that she lashed out at Candace because her finger was in her face. And her dad put his finger in her face as a child. So the childhood trauma of that, she couldn't fight her dad, so she had to fight Candace. And I call bullshit on all of that. Now, I ain't saying your daddy ain't put his finger in his face, but who daddy haven't? Shit. I mean, I told you, like, I don't get it. Monique, I wish what you should have done. And you could have had some childhood trauma, but I call bullshit on it because the whole part 2 of this video, you were going like, well, you put this, you was doing this, and then I got the wine, and then now you know who leaked the story to the bloggers. Like, it's so much bullshit from both sides. Monique, I would have respected you more if you would have just said, look, Candace, you did not deserve what I gave you. I should have whooped that bitch ass right there. That's the apology that should have came out of Monique. That's what should have came out of Monique. Candace, me and you was friends. Some shit went on behind the scenes that I had bottled up, and it came out the wrong time, and all the anger I had for this plot situation, I should have angled it at this bitch, and I apologize for whooping your ass. I should have whooped hers. That's what Monique should have said, and I would have been like, done. But after all of that, Candace don't even forget the apology. I've been waiting for this apology, and I would forgive you. I would accept it, but you came out with this song called Drag Queens, and I knew it was about me. And I'm like, that's why she ain't never apologized to your ass in the first place, because she knew you wasn't going to accept the shit and you was going to throw it back in her face. I respect people for not being sorry when they not sorry. I do. But let's move on from that, because I don't care nothing about that song, Drag Queens. The video came out, and I'm not even going to watch it. One thing I will say, Andy was shady when he was like, so Monique, you're a recording artist? And I was like, bitch, yes. Like, I didn't like Andy throughout this entire reunion. And Monique, if you knew in your mind, because I kind of felt like you knew you was going to quit, you should have cussed all of that. You should have cussed all their asses out. I would have been like, bitch, yes. She was brought on the show as a rapper. Now, I ain't never heard none of Monique stuff, so I don't know if she good or not. I ain't gonna say nothing shady about it. But Candace song, it hits. Like, that song stay in, that remix, the remix, stays in rotation on my title. Anyway, now Andy is telling Monique that her attorney gave her bad advice. And I'm like, see, Andy, you stick to TV. That's why you, whatever you do for Bravo, stick to that shit. You ain't go to law school. Clearly, I feel like Monique would have apologized to Candace a long time ago. If not because she meant it, I felt like Monique would have apologized just to get the shit over with for the show, to keep the ball rolling. But I feel like once someone presses charges on you, you cannot go around apologizing to them, because now you're going to be on camera giving an apology, and the judge is going to be like, well, you said you sorry, so it's your fault. What you sorry for if you ain't do shit? You know, so once you get attorneys involved, you can't be sorry even if you were. And like Monique said, you would not have respected a social media apology. I'm not filming with you ladies, so when would I have seen Candace to give her an apology? I'm sure if Monique would have called Candace, Candace would not have answered. So I ain't mad. Andy, mind your motherfucking business. Stay out of the legal profession. That was great advice. Once somebody, because the first thing my mama taught me, if you get in a little fender bender, you don't never apologize. Wait till the police get there. Wait for the police to write out the police report, and for the police to decide who at fault. When you have any kind of accident and the police, anything are involved, you don't apologize for shit, because as soon as you apologize, you are admitting to guilt. Moving on from that. Okay. Let's move on from that. So now Karen is in the middle, and Candace is crying some more because, oh, Karen, how Karen's so hurt from being, I don't give a fuck about none of that. The one thing that, let's talk about the shit that I peeped that I didn't know before. Karen went to Bravo. Now, I remember on Twitter when it was put out there that Candace said some shit to Karen about go burn in hell. Karen went to Bravo. Her reasoning is it was a clause in our contract that says we can get mental help or therapy. So she said, my friend would never tell me to burn in eternal hell. So I knew she needed some help. And I'm like, Karen, that's bullshit. This some more Tyler Perry acting auditions. Like, Karen, just admit you were pissed because Candace's mouth is reckless. She said some reckless ass shit to you in a text message, and you went to Bravo to get her reprimanded or fired because of her Twitter fingers and her mouth. And just say you did it. I'm not mad at you for doing it, because I'm going to be like, bitch, you keep playing with me, let me play with you and your coins and see how long you going to live in this house that Dorothy not paying for. Okay. And Karen says she has no regrets. And see, that's what I like. That's what I like. So now the husbands come out because this is what I've been waiting for. And I'm disappointed because, see, this bitch Giselle is yet again lying. She talking about everybody was giving it to her on the stage and she ran off the stage crying. And I'm like, bitch, I didn't see one. I didn't see everybody giving it to you. Really, only the Samuels. Everybody on the stage said you couldn't dress, but that was it. And when did you run off crying? So, bitch, you lied. You lied. But anyway, because I was waiting forward to that. I was waiting forward to that. This whole episode, Giselle pissed me off. Giselle is the type of bitch that if it wasn't for Karen, I wouldn't watch this shit next season. Because Monique is gone. We're going to get to this at the end. So, everyone is talking about the Michael Jordan 10 series thing. It was a good little series. Me and my husband watched it together. And Robin in the background talking like, yeah, you know Juan played with Jordan. I think Robin should shut the fuck up. Because every time she talk about her husband and it being in the NBA, it just reminds me of how you lost all his coins. But anyway, Chris Samuels wasn't here for the bullshit. Andy comes out. All the guys are hee ha ha with Andy. He's like, oh, Chris, did you see it? And Chris was like, no, ma'am. I ain't got time. I don't give a fuck about Michael Jordan. I want to know about this plot and who was talking about my son. On period. So, we learned that Chris Bassett sold his restaurant and he's now doing catering and online, whatever you do. He's an online. He do the TikTok and the YouTube videos. I done learned a lot of good recipes from YouTube. So, good luck with that. I believe he brought that up before somebody could throw it in his face that he lost his restaurant. But I really don't give a fuck. Jamal is out lecturing. He probably is. But it amazes me that everyone is still pretending that they in a relationship. Like, Giselle, you would do better to just say the shit was fake and move on. Juan is working. That's why his ass is not there. And I'm wondering, like, you ain't got no PTO days. You couldn't take one PTO day. Like, the assistant coach couldn't run them basketball drills one day so you could sit by your wife at this reunion. Especially when a big-ass football player has threatened to stomp a mud hole in her and slap the shit out of her. That Giselle needed security. You telling me you ain't going to want to sit by your wife? It's very convenient. Very convenient. Especially when you only had one job this whole season, and that was to propose. And I want to know what was Juan going to do, because somewhere along the reunion, Robin is talking about, you better be happy. Juan, whatever Juan's last name is, what is it? Juan is not here. And I'm like, what was Juan going to do, Robin? He was either going to, one, sit there shutting the fuck up, making you look stupid, like you already look with them track marks in your head. Or number two, maybe he should have been there and told you to pick another wig. Or number two, he would have got his ass whooped. So, which one was he going to do, Robin? Moving on. Eddie, I like Eddie. I like the way he talks. I really like when Wendy and Eddie had family moments. I don't like Wendy when she's with Giselle, Robin, and Candace in this whole clique circle thing. I feel like Wendy, you will be much more loved. Your character can have much more development if you kick your soror to the curb. I'm telling you, Giselle is going to bring you down the same way she done brought Robin down. And I'm just telling you, Wendy, I feel like you and your husband can have a storyline that can hold its own, because I'm interested in your family and your degrees. Like, what you and your husband, like, I like a different dynamic to the group, kind of like a Tanya. How Tanya is a breath of fresh air. And you see they done ran Tanya off. Wendy, if you ever watch my little channel, you would do so much better if you distance yourself from Giselle. I hope you all watch the reunion and actually see how production cut Giselle's throat. But let's move on. I did write in my notes, because when Eddie said when Wendy was approached to the show, he was like, YOLO, you only live once. Let my wife do it. I want to tell you, season 2, she got a pass because Monique was there. And Giselle and Robin's storyline only works when they have someone to put their business in the street and make fun of. Trust and believe, your wife could be next. But let's move on. Ray loves Karen. Ray spoils Karen, and he ain't giving her the money back. We've already addressed that. I want to know, because now they're talking about Chris and Mo doing something with that wine bottle, giving it fellatio, whatever. I don't know. I want to know what's so offensive about it. What's so offensive about a husband standing up saying, one, it's clearly a joke. And even if it wasn't, I forget the premise of what they were doing, but something that has to do with your wife. And he makes a joke about she's good at giving head. What's so offensive about that? What's so offensive about it? Like, I know some people are uptight and they might be like, oh, but I don't understand why it was so offensive when all of you bitches raised your hand outside of Karen about sucking y'all man down before y'all got on the flight to Portugal. On camera, you all admitted to that. I don't understand why you were so offended. And here's Wendy, because Chris is a gentleman. He apologized. He was like, if I offended you all, I'm sorry, but it was a joke. I was just trying to have fun at the party. And then here comes Wendy, my husband would never. And I'm like, see, Wendy, one, ain't had shit to do with you. Two, don't nobody give a fuck about what your husband would never. You need to be asking Monique for some pointers before he be looking to the left. Especially if he gonna... Shut up, Angie. But let's move on from that. Because, see, you putting your husband in a scenario that a lot of reality TV women have found, that you get on these platforms, you put your cute ass, because your husband is cute, you put your cute ass husband all over the screen, you bigging him up, he a lawyer, he booked, he got coins. The hoes is coming, because the hoes don't give a fuck about your marriage or your 4 degrees. You better ask Monique for some pointers before she exit all the way stage left. But let's move on from that. Giselle's bitch ass has security. I hate Giselle. I hate her with a passion. Now, I didn't watch this live where Chris Samuels said he wished he could be Bruce Jenner so he could slap the shit out of Giselle and Robin and stomp their asses out. People said that was transphobic. I'm assuming it's transphobic because he should have said Caitlyn instead of Bruce. I don't know, because I don't want to say anything incorrect on my channel. But one thing I will say is I understand people speaking in anger. I understand the words of anger outside of the words of truth. And not Chris, but if Chris would have said, Monique, go slap her ass, and Monique would have slapped the shit out of Giselle and Robin for what they did, I would not have been mad at it. Because let's wrap this all up in a pretty bow, because I don't want to go through all these notes. There was a plot. It seems like the word plot is the issue. I feel like there's some kind of legal twistings with the Samuels and Bravo, where they said if anybody says on this show that my son is not mine's, I'm coming for y'all asses. And that's why Bravo did not air any of that shit Giselle was doing. And I'm happy they at least showed that one clip in the reunion to shut all of this shit down, because the way Andy was trying to say, it wasn't brought to the show. It didn't happen. What are you guys talking about? Like, you all did not see that live video of Candace. And what I didn't understand is the whole time Chris is talking, Andy's trying to be like, we talked about this over 2 hours ago. Bitch, every husband has the right to come out there and give their 2 cents. You let every other husband say what the fuck they had to say. This is what Chris wants to talk about. You all tried to say, take plot out of it. You tried to say, you did say on camera that this man's son was not his. It was the trainer's. That's exactly what Giselle said in the clip. talking about, oh, well, you all brought it up, so I thought I could bring it up. They did not bring it up. All he said was, my son looked like me. What does saying, doesn't my son look like me, have to do with you saying, we all know that this bitch business been in the street and that ain't even Chris's baby and it might be the trainers? What does that have to do? None of that sounds alike. And what pisses me off so much is this bitches out there that rock with Giselle and believe and roll with the way her mind works. Like, oh yeah, well, Monique did bring it up. She didn't bring it up. Now, what I don't understand, and I don't rock with any of this, and it's the only hole in the story. A bitch couldn't walk around that I know is trying to plot on my baby, trying to say I'm fucking a trainer and my son ain't even my husband's. That bitch ain't even coming to my house. We all clearly know Chris brought that up in that moment because he knew what the lies were in the street and he was trying to punk your ass out, Giselle, and you caught it. And I think that's why I honestly feel like Monique was trying to play nice with Giselle at the beginning of the season because she didn't want that plot to come out or the rumors to come out on the show. And I feel like somewhere along the season, they got wind, maybe from a producer, that Giselle was talking about it to Robin in confessionals. And that's when Monique kind of was like, fuck, I don't know. Like, some kind of way, the Samuels know that it was talked about because it was not aired. And I feel like it has to be something legal in there why Andy is really pushing the narrative, but we didn't air it. It wasn't on the show, so don't sue me. You know, I don't know why Andy allowed everyone to overtalk Chris. Like Giselle, at this moment, if there was ever a time you could jump through the TV screen, I would have wanted to slap the shit out of Giselle for Monique. If there was ever a moment. Because the whole time Chris was talking, why you want to argue with women? He just wants to argue and beat up women. And Chris apologized. That's the bullshit I don't like. Chris said, I apologize. That's not me. I'm not that type of person. I was speaking out of anger. Of course, I would never touch a woman. He's apologizing. And through the whole apology, Robin and Giselle are piping up. What plot? Yeah, you want to slap me? Oh, I wish Juan was here. Giselle was wishing any man could. She just had to pay 2 men to be there for her. And what pissed me off even more with Andy is this man has apologized. And now he's rocking with Giselle and he wants to read verbatim again what Chris Samuels said in that video after he just apologized. So now he has to apologize again. I'm like, Andy, you full of shit. You full of shit. You messy. I'm so happy they don't need you in Bravo. And they gave you, because see, you gave them a contract saying you want them. And Monique gave you her entire ass to kiss. Monique, don't come back to this show. Don't turn around later and be like, I'm coming back. No, continue to give them your entire ass to kiss. I know that Bravo platform, you don't need the money. That platform is something that's hard to walk away from. You're not going to get into the platform like that. But fuck them. I did not like that. And at some point, I guess Chris was standing up because they started arguing with the Bassett's. And Giselle's like, he's standing up. Go tell his big ass to sit down. I'm telling you, it was so many times Monique could have ran across that stage and I wouldn't have been mad. Like, I don't like Giselle. I don't like Giselle at all. I think I said this before, but in my notes, I said my question was, when we're talking about the plot again, Ashley was there. Why didn't Ashley ever speak up and say, I was there, you all were talking about her baby? Karen, you called Monique after Ashley told you what went down. Why didn't you ever speak up and say, you all know y'all were talking? Like, I feel like everyone got word not to say shit about this, because the entire time they were talking about the plot, Giselle's and Robin's eyes were glued on Candace like, bitch, you better not. You better not. Like the entire time. It was kind of like, bitch, if you don't retract your statement, you out the circle. And Candace, I got words for you, girl. Now, let's get through a lot of this. I already said thank God for production. Candace did admit to the conversation. She did say, it would have sounded stupid because that baby looks just like him. Like, what would have sounded stupid? Give the whole, like you were already on live talking about it. Why? Anyway, so now Chris Samuels is like, let's dead the whole situation. Asked everybody on the cast, did you talk about my baby on this show? Everyone said no. He said, what about you, Giselle, the ringleader? And Giselle was like, shut the fuck up. I don't have nothing to say to you. And that's when production showed us the clip. And I'm like, bitch, you a sneaky bitch. You can't lie. You're not quick with it. So all you can say is shut the fuck up. That was time number 4 that Monique could have slapped the shit out of you and I wouldn't have been mad. So finally, we at the last 30 minutes of part 3. One of your flute holders from season 1, in the last 30 minutes of part 3, we finally get to ask Robin about her fake ass ring and engagement to her ex-husband. All I'm gonna say is, Robin, if you happy, I'm happy for you. You say your taxes paid. Congratulations, girl. I ain't mad at it. You want to build a house. Don't let that be your storyline next season, because we already see you try to revamp a house and you're not that good at it. Just show us when it's done. Bravo, y'all just giving Robin checks. Like, she needs to be a friend of. Nobody wants to see her budget wedding over in the Dominican Republic. We don't want to see that shit. We don't want to see her scratching and surviving, trying to get her contracts together. We've already seen that. So let's move on. I want to know what was up with Juan's drunk talk, because Karen said that Ray told her, we've already broke down enough families this season. I don't want to break down another family, so I won't say what Juan said when he was drunk. Now, either Karen is full of shit or she's working on season 6. Robin, be careful, girl. Be careful for your business being the street with your man. I'm not mad at Chris Samuels, because Andy was like, well, are you happy for their engagement? And Chris was like, I don't give a fuck. All the shit y'all done put me and my family through, I ain't thinking about them getting engaged. Fuck them and that fake ass ring. You know, I'm not mad at that. And I'm not mad that every time Chris had an opportunity, he brought up that plot, because he wanted y'all bitches to know, we see you. Production sees you too. Ray announces that he's looking at Robin like, Robin, please tell me when your wedding date is. And Robin is looking like, oh, Ray, you know you're invited to my wedding. He was like, nah, bitch, I want to make sure that my shit ain't on the same day, because we're gonna be planning a real wedding, a Bravo style wedding. You know, that's gonna be our storyline. Ray was setting up his season 6. Like, Ray, he got a plot with drunk Juan, and he giving his wife a wedding. I'm not mad at it. And Karen cried. It was her opportunity to pull out the Kleenex, and I'm happy for her, because she really did put her true marriage feelings on the line this season. And I'm happy they're going to renew their wives, and Ray said how much he loved her. Chris Samuels, it's now time for him to do some Tyler Perry acting. Like, it was acting, but it was real. And I wasn't mad at it. He has to tell everybody, I'm proud of my wife and her strength. All the bullshit y'all put her through, and she did all of this to keep her job. He wants to be like, fuck your job. Like, we don't even need this job, baby. Don't worry about these bitches. And I like how Chris ended Giselle in the classiest but most accurate way. He said, Giselle, I forgive you. I released this shit. I'm over it. I'm going back to my mansion. You go finish fixing up your barn. He said, hurt people, hurt people. Go get some help. I'm out of this shit. I'm done. That was the best part of the night for me. Okay, y'all. I told you my iPad was on 5%, so I got to finish up on this phone real quick. So, Chris and Chris are cool. They dapped it up backstage. They made friends. And that was it. I don't have... That was it. I'm on here for the last 2 minutes of this review. I want to talk real quick about what do we all think season 6 will give now that Monique has quit. I'm going to tell you like this. It's a lot of bitches last night scrambling, reaching, going back to the drawing board. What is going to be their storyline? Because they don't have a punching bag. They don't have someone who can be the villain of the group. They don't have someone to be like, I ain't gonna film with her, fuck her, we can talk about her behind her back. Like, who you gonna talk about now? Because y'all gonna look stupid talking about somebody who ain't gonna be on the show anymore. Let's go through it real quick. Karen, I think Karen will be okay, because Karen gonna come up with something. Karen wasn't planning on using Monique anyway. Karen's storyline is probably gonna be this 25-year renewal. Y'all know they started filming in January. So when I say bitches are scrambling for a storyline, they're scrambling. Karen is going to be planning her vow renewal, and we're probably going to see more of her and Ray falling back in love. I really don't give a fuck what the Grand Dame does. Karen just entertains me in general. Ashley it's going to be baby number 2. Maybe, I think they're going to start filming in time for maybe her birth might be called, like, but I don't know with COVID if they're going to allow cameras in there, but I think we're going to get to see Ashley be really pregnant and give birth. So I don't think the target will be Ashley, because you just look like a bitch coming after a woman who's 9 months pregnant. But we saw Candace do it, drag me Monique, like, so it seems like Ashley might be the one who will get a lot of rah-rah, because they mad at Ashley and Karen still. But I just feel like it looks stupid I don't want to hear no more about Monique, like, no more. Who's up next? Giselle never has a storyline. You got about a few weeks, girl, to go find you a man. Jamal has already said, even if y'all were together, y'all ain't together right now. So I don't know what Giselle's storyline will be. Who cares? Y'all just giving away y'all money to Robin. I guess Robin is gonna show us her budget wedding, but no one wants to see Robin plan a wedding. Just no. We don't. No. What will Wendy give? Like, maybe Wendy will give more of her family. I'm just gonna say beware. I think the 2 bitches that need to beware are Wendy and Candace. Giselle and Robin, really only Giselle, because Robin just follows up behind Giselle, and Wendy seems to be the third tag-along in the Giselle and Robin clique. Candace, they don't like you that much. They really aren't your friend. And trust and believe, your mouth, you're going to say something, and you will be the one that they all turn on and look at like you're crazy. And all the shit that y'all did to Monique this season, watch out, Candace. It might be your turn next. Because to me, it's now time. We're now at the point of this franchise, and all of the franchises do it, where your regular family day-to-day life is no longer, like, we know it. We got it. Your mama crazy. Giselle ain't got no man. Karen is the Grand Dame. Like, we got it. Nobody can stand Giselle's ass. We got it. So now it's time for the dirt. It's time for people to start spilling your true tea, making up lies. It's time for the scandals. Who's going to have the scandal of the season? And let's ride that out. What I don't understand is, why does Bravo, why y'all don't advocate violence, but it seems like y'all advocating sexual assault? Because how the hell does Michael get to come back? And we saw with our eyes at least 2 asses he grabbed without permission. So it's okay for Michael, the white man, to grab all the asses he wants, but Monique can't whop a bitch who deserved it. I don't know. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna be back with y'all next season for season 6 to see what it gives. But I feel like Monique quitting has just signed you all's last check. Y'all better step it up. It's now time for a lot of y'all bitches to put a lot of y'all business in the streets because you no longer have your punching bag. Get in the comments, let's discuss, and I will talk to y'all later. All right? Bye.